Dr. Phil, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah? So tell me why you wrote me.
Well, Paul and I were married about 3.5 weeks ago.
Oh, you were remarried 3.5 weeks
Remarried,
ago.
yes.
Right. Now, your families don't know this, right?
No.
And you're kind of keeping an eye on him right now, just like you do when you're at home, right?
Yes.
Because we're talking spyware, computers,
Yes.
all that.
Yes.
Why did you remarry him if you didn't trust him enough to... I mean, that seems inconsistent. I don't trust this guy so much I got to watch him, but I think I'll remarry him.
Well, I don't think we had a huge trust issue the first time around, but I realized very quickly into the second time around that I did have a trust issue with him, and it was serious.
Well, your instincts were right because you found him on dating sites, right?
Yes.
All right. So you have trouble getting him to own up to things, to be straight.
Absolutely.
So you need my help.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to do that right now.
Thank you.
I'll see you out there.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
That's an interesting choice of words. We'll just let this marriage marinate. What's that mean?
Well, I was
Do
just...
you have a plan to tell the family at some point, or that's what I'm asking, I guess.
Oh, absolutely, yes, I do.
Why did you get a divorce to begin with? Let's turn the clock back and look at the last one before we even look at this one.
It was just time to do that because it was kind of like the 3 strikes, and okay, well, finally, we need to, I guess, end this. I mean, she'd moved out 3 times, and so it was looked like it's like if you don't want to be there, and you felt the need to go out and be on your own and look for somebody new, and
First thing, I don't agree with 3 strikes. I wasn't 3 strikes. I mean, you act like I'm the one that...
Were you moving out?
But
Yes,
3 times,
I was moving out.
3 times she left, so then therefore, I guess, we need to do something finalized. I didn't want it to be like it was with she and, her former relationship where...
Well, how big a deal were the class differences? Because you mentioned that, and you say he talks about that a lot. You're trailer trash, and you're from a better background, better upbringing.
High society.
High society. So he crossed the tracks to find you.
Yes, I'm so lucky.
Well, I mean, now this is about being honest.
I don't really agree with that. I don't
But
agree
wait a
with that,
minute.
Tammy.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me just preface this by saying we agreed when we started, good, bad, or ugly, we're going to be honest.
Yes.
Now, you have demeaned her background, have you not?
In her eyes.
And she's bailed on you not once but twice, but she just keeps bailing on you. That's why you said 3 strikes. She kept leaving. You said that's enough.
Well, I mean, it creates an instability in our family. When your mother's leaving, and the children are there, and
Why do you keep hitting the door?
For one thing, it's not just me leaving. It's his house. Okay, I didn't buy this house. I don't own this house. If anyone's going to leave, I'm going to have to leave. It's not like I can kick him out.
Have you left repeatedly?
Yes, I have left repeatedly.
Did you want her to leave when she left those times?
no, especially not the last time.
But you left anyway.
I left because I had to, for my health. Both made the decision that we should just go ahead and get married. Because if we had delayed, we might not do it.
It seemed like it was more of her idea, and she wanted to do it fast, so I just had to trust her and just jump back into the marriage.
Should you stay in your relationship and make it work, or make a clean break? Sometimes that's the hard question that you have to face. Sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you have to make the decision right. Sometimes you got to cut bait and move on. Now, one of the issues important to Paul is Tammy's housekeeping. He says he's just trying to raise her standards.
Paul likes to put sticky notes up on the door. He likes to make sure that I walk outside and I close the door behind me. It saves me energy. He wants to remind me whenever I wash my scrubs for work that I remove all my paper clips. Over here, I need to turn the exhaust fan on when running the dryer. Here's another note in case I don't see this one. I've got this one to remind me. Last week, he's like, from now on, let's all fold our toilet paper when we wipe instead of scrunch it up. And he's serious. I had a can that I put in the regular trash, and he immediately grabbed it out of the trash, and he got in my face and he says, look at this. Look at this. You threw this in the regular trash can, and this is meaning that you do not love me.
You just asked her, is that demeaning?
Yes.
Well, how did you answer?
I said, yes, it is demeaning. It's very demeaning.
What's demeaning about it?
It makes me feel like I am being a child, and it makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I do know what I'm doing. I'm an adult. I don't need someone telling me how to behave, or, and if I don't want to recycle, then I shouldn't have to. I do it most of the time for him, but sometimes I make mistakes and I don't throw it in the right trash can, and I think he should be okay with that.
Ladies, help me out here. How many of you are okay with your husband putting sticky notes around the house telling you what to do? Raise your hand. How many of you thinks that is condescending and demeaning? Raise your hand. I'm just trying to give you a little focus group here, just a little quick poll of the audience. Do you?
Was that majority? I think.
Well, let's look again. Show of hands if that's condescending and demeaning. Keep them up. Keep them up. Keep them up. Scan from your right to your left and back from your left to your right. You missed the middle section. Do I need a post-it note on this? That's not going to take it from me. I've been married 30 years, despite the fact that I've been getting a divorce apparently for the last year, according to the tabloids.
32.
What are you saying there, ma'am?
It's actually 32 years last week.
32 years, excuse me.
Last week.
I can tell you that won't work.
I understand.
Well, do you really? Then why do you do it?
I just did it one time.
Listen, I mean, as ugly as it sounds, it is a big part of the problem here that you just do think you married beneath yourself. She just doesn't have the upbringing. She didn't have the parents that prepared her properly. As ugly as that may sound, I mean, that's what you think, isn't it?
I read it in a book. I don't believe it. I never believed it.
You certainly espouse it.
Certainly.
You say it to her. Does he say it to you?
Yes.
Why would you say it to her at home, but you won't own it now?
Saying what?
That you married beneath you, that she's trailer trash, that she's, quote, a dumbass. She's, you've referred to her as the you've called her stupid, idiot, trailer trash, and dumb. That's, is that clear enough?
That should do it. I think so, yes. I mean,
That suggests to me that you think she's,
beneath me?
yeah.
I do like anybody, when you try to teach somebody something, it's like she's very teachable and accepts anything else from someone else. And I don't look at it that way.
But you come from a higher class, in your opinion.
If there is such a thing, I don't make judgments.
Well, but one of the things that confused me, if you come from a higher class, how come when y'all got a divorce, she's paying you child support?
Well, she didn't. It was written in the documents, but
Well, you filed for it, you asked for it.
Yeah.
So you want a little patches here from the other side of the track to be paying you,
Right.
to be paying you child support?
It was standard. It's written up in the document. Standard. That's just a standard decree. I mean,
He told me I was lucky it wasn't $350. It was just $100 a month.
Yeah. Did you read that paperwork?
Well, I didn't get the final paperwork until we were divorced.
No.
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't
Don't
know.
tell me that you got a divorce and you didn't know what the paper said. You had
Honestly,
access to the paper.
I had access to what was supposed to be not the final papers, but I had signed a waiver that basically gave him all the choice, everything in the divorce. And I had no idea that that's what I was doing. He told me that I was signing a piece of paper that was getting the divorce started. He did not tell me it was a waiver saying that he could make any decision he wanted to in the divorce.
You didn't have a lawyer?
No, I did not. He told me that the lawyer that he got was our lawyer. Everything was going well at this time, and it was kind of a thing where he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go get us a lawyer so that we can get the divorce started." And I thought we were playing nice with each other.
when the paperwork was all going through and filed, we were actually together, and
Yes, yeah. I didn't realize though that you were taking my daughter away from me at that time, though. I had no idea.
I was not
For the
taking your
first
daughter
months.
away from you.
In paper,
I was
you were.
not.
In
because
paper, you were.
In paper, but she had the opportunity to have her daughter as much as she wanted, do
Oh,
anything with her,
thank you.
and yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
But
as
if
her
it's not
mother-
in paper, then what happens
thinks
if you
it's
decide
not
to go and
on
have another
paperwork.
relationship,
Excuse me.
and then all of a sudden, you know what? That new relationship that you had was probably, oh, you need to go with just what the papers say.
Boy, things apparently went to hell in a handbasket in 3.5 weeks. So,
Oh, this was our last.
but 3.5 weeks ago, y'all were all in love and getting remarried, right?
Yes.
Wow.
as crazy as that sounds. I mean,
Yeah. Tammy and Paul are trying to figure out if their remarriage can make it or if they should break it off and stop it now. They clearly don't see things the same way. Not only have they kept their remarriage a secret from their families, there are secrets that they've been keeping from each other. Now, Tammy installed something called spyware on her husband's computer. The spyware program sent Tammy a readout of all the websites that Paul had been visiting online. Let's take a look at what she found Paul was up to weeks after they had remarried.
Logging on to eHarmony, getting match detail reviews, getting to know more about a certain person that's on there, logging out of eHarmony, immediately getting on to singlesnet.com and doing the member login and viewing online members. Here's a couple of photos that he looks at, and then he logs out. Does he have absolutely no respect for me at all and just doesn't care about the marriage?
Okay, what are you doing on these dating sites? You're married.
well, like any mature relationship, I mean, you just kind of ease out of things, and you get to a point where, I mean, you have to, take control and be responsible and all that. And, I just didn't do it fast enough, I guess. I mean, I didn't.
Like the day we
It's
got
like
married.
old habits are hard to
was
break.
like
It's just a situation where it wasn't like the interest. A lot of the things it's kind of like research. I'm looking at what these people think and how they sound, and what their feelings, their attitudes, their opinions, and just different things like that.
photos and stuff.
And what are you? What is it you're researching? No, seriously. You said it's research. What is it? You usually do research in preparation for execution.
Right.
What is it you're researching?
Just other women's ideas and how they think, and if I'm just way off, and if I'm just my ideas and the way I'm thinking are just wrong, or if it is if there are other people
So
out
you're
there
just looking
that-
for some
that-
counsel to help your marriage.
Absolutely.
No, Paul, you have every intention of wanting to talk to those women. You have every intention of wanting to find out, are they
If I had
better
those
than I
intentions,
am?
Tammy,
or-
then I would be doing it. I'd be exercising it.
You are
I wouldn't-
doing it.
You are. You're online.
Wait a minute. On
Because
your
you look at one, and you're not like
You're
it has
looking
nothing
to
to
see,
do.
you have an intention there. You're looking to see what's out there.
And
you're
part of
married.
it's because I know that she's doing that to me. And how much disrespect is that?
well, that
she's
is
got hookups-
disrespectful that she would
she's
check
got
up on
hookups-
you talking to your potential
She's
research
got to hook up.
participants.
Yeah, she's got to hook up spyware and keeping track of me. And it's like, where's the trust in that?
Sounds to me
would've
like she
never
needs
started
to.
that. I would have never started that if I didn't have a problem
Okay,
already.
But did you email someone on eHarmony on the day of your wedding?
No.
Did you email Melissa on the day of your wedding and said, I'll be returning from Houston on Sunday at 7:30 or 8. If something would work during this time, we could meet somewhere when I'm returning. I live in just near. Did I read that right?
I believe so, yes.
So, and the date would be your wedding day?
Early. You see how early it is? So I'm not sure if she's going to bail on me at the altar, or if maybe I'll get to that point.
Tammy remarried each other about a month ago, and they were reluctant to tell their families about their new marriage because, well, they just knew that family members were going to be furious with them because of all the problems in the first marriage. Now, Cindy is Tammy's older sister. She says that they should not have remarried and kept it secret from her. And according to Cindy and Tammy, there have been several scary incidences with Paul.
When Paul would get angry at me, he would try to throw shadow punches at me. Just kind of go like this at my nose. Paul would throw me against the wall.
I've witnessed Paul hit me against the head. She had the karaoke machine and he wanted to sing evidently.
He grabbed me, just kind of right here against the neck and, just kind of started shaking me.
He went through the house, screaming at the top of his lungs, and I told him I was going to call the police, and he lunged at me. Tammy went outside to talk to him.
Paul picked up Blake and grabbed him against the shoulder, and he was so angry at him that he threw him up against the wall.
I'm very afraid of his rages, and he will hurt Tammy and Blake.
Cindy, what do you think about this?
I'm upset. I hate it. I think that Tammy's above Paul. I don't think she should be with him.
So why do you suppose they lied by omission and didn't tell you or anybody else about this?
Because she knew that her family would be upset because we're all afraid that sooner or later he'll snap and my nephew.
You're not going to, are you?
No, sir. No.
All right. Why did you get remarried? I mean, America's all screaming at the screen right now saying, why did y'all get remarried? Why did you do it?
Well, for one thing, after we got divorced, we were dating about 3 months after that. We were still dating. We were still seeing each other. And we didn't spend, we tried to have other relationships and, a couple of other dates and things like that. But I kept wanting to be with him. I kept wanting to,
And
hold him.
What in particular was it that made you want to be with him? Was it the choking and shaking? Was it the insults and demeaning and condescension? Is he particularly charming when he is your son? I mean, what was it that popped out the most?
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about those things at the time.
Because you know what happens? You get selective memory, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's kind
I'm
of like
bad
you're
about that.
together and you just run at each other and you go, I can't take this another second of another minute of another day. I got to get out of here and get a divorce. And then you get away from each other and you start going, well, we had so much fun at the beach and it was so much fun when we would curl up on the couch. And I remember, we did this, we did that. It's kind of like you just get like struck dumb and all of those things that were so strongly present are gone and you just have selective memory. And you start missing the person you wish you had been married to. It's not the person you were married to, it's the person you wish you had been married to. And so you glamorize them and you polish them all up and they look great from a distance. And then you get back there about a week later and you go, yeah, I remember why I can't stand this person.
That's exactly right. Exactly, to the T, what you're saying.
Well,
That's exactly how I feel.
fancy that.
That's exactly
good.
how I feel. I mean,
Well, this is an interesting thing. You guys bring an interesting dimension to this that we don't often have, because most people, they kind of get that, once you're out, stay out. Usually for most people, it's one trial learning. It's kind of like sticking your hand in a blender.
Yeah.
You do that one time. You don't need to go back and say, now let's see, was that okay or not?
Yeah.
Let me try that again. But that's what y'all did. And so we actually have something here that we don't often have. See, usually if people are talking about getting married, you have to speculate what's going to happen. But with you guys, we have the ability to measure what happens when you're married. You've had years of measurement about what happens. So we don't have to speculate. We just measure how y'all got along. And it seems to me that would be a pretty easy choice. But, even beyond that, there are some really core issues here that go beyond anything we've talked about so far.
he hands me this piece of paper and he says, well, all you got to do is sign this piece of paper and the divorce process would be started. So I signed it, but what it actually was signing any right I had to make any decision in the divorce.
I had reached my limit. I just wanted closure and to finalize it.
Well, Tammy and Paul are trying to figure out if their remarriage can make it, should make it, or if they ought to just quit, call it off right now. One incident that cost them a lot of money, their whole bank account, in fact, involved a trip Paul took to New Orleans. Now, Tammy says Paul was out dancing with some woman, had too much to drink, and the whole family paid the price. Tammy's sister claims it's even worse than that.
Paul went on a boys' trip to New Orleans. He had confessed that he had went out and he drank way too much. There was a woman there at a dance club that was dancing with him.
He had hired a prostitute.
They left the dance club. They shared a cab. The cab drove up to her hotel. She invited him up. The next day he realizes that his credit card was stolen. He basically said it was much of a blackout situation and that he was conned and that this woman was a professional. I don't feel like he did anything wrong. He tells me that nothing happened in the hotel room, and I believe him.
I believe that Paul has cheated on Tammy. She told me he had.
Well, that's a different twist. The britches on you instead of taking them off of you. So is that what happened here?
And in lesser words, I mean, sure, yeah. I ran. I was scared. I mean, I'd never been in that situation. And
Did you know she?
no, she's got it right on saying that she was a con artist. I mean, she was a thief.
Were you going
But
back to her hotel room
she
to
didn't know
do
how to
some
work it.
research? Or?
No, I'd already researched. Everything. All the research was finished, and I'm a nice guy, Dr. Phil. I was being a nice guy. I felt bad. She was like, well, she didn't have enough money to get back to her place. And so I said, well, I'll pay for the taxi. I bought the taxi. We went back to the hotel or whatever she lived in. And she said, come on up, and, all this kind of stuff. So, yes, I had a few cocktails. So, I didn't see any harm. I was like, well, okay, well. But then once I got up there and found out that she was either going to try to turn it or, in the meantime, I didn't realize she'd already taken my debit ATM card. And all I did was want to get out of there, and I was like, no thanks.
Must have been standing pretty close to you to pick your pocket.
Well, it was in the bar. I mean, yeah. In the bar, I had to get the money out, ATM at the bar to get enough money for the taxi. And that's when she, fast-fingered me, did the little trick of the eyes thing or something. And, there I was, just being a nice guy. And
You're married though, Paul. You're not supposed to be a nice guy to those kind of women.
Hold on.
But you wanted to hear when we were still married, and I was, and she was dating this guy. And, we were still married at the time.
We filed for separation.
Yeah,
After we
still
filed for
married at this
separation.
time. However, she told me that she was going with her sister Cindy to Shreveport. Well, come to find out, she was really going to Mexico with the guy that she was dating at the time when we haven't even completed the divorce.
We filed for separation in April. I never started a relationship with anyone with any intention, not talking on the phone or anything, and this was in July. Okay, so I'd been out
And
of
we
the
had
house
seen
since
each other, and
I've been out of the house
actually
since
the
January.
night before.
Filed for separation in April.
Excuse me.
Relationship in July. What you did in New Orleans?
Excuse me.
What you did in New Orleans was
Excuse
during
me.
our marriage.
Excuse me.
The good part of our marriage.
Pardon me. All right, excuse
Supposedly.
me. Why don't you look at it this way? It's like, the good part of our marriage? Yeah, it must have been
supposed to be
really
the good part.
great for
The
me
beginning.
I went with a bunch of guys, okay, to the New Orleans Bowl, and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, obviously, but I corrected
Come
it.
on, you're not the victim here. Hell, Lassie could figure this one out.
But listen. Let me finish telling you the story. let's hear the rest of this story, though. Okay, let's hear the rest of this story. We were with each other the night before that she was like, well, they're leaving on a Thursday. The night before, we were with each other Wednesday. The night when she was telling me that she was going with her sister to Shreveport, when she was actually going with her boyfriend at the time to Mexico. And I just happened to put everything together. I did my research. I did my research and figured everything out.
Out of
Maybe you're right. Maybe you all deserve each other. Maybe it's.
So, it's not like I hadn't gone through it.
But I don't know. I promised some core issues that I think are outcome determinative here. Didn't get to them, but will next. Okay, Tammy and Paul are newly remarried, and as Paul puts it, they're miserable together. They're miserable apart. They're trying to figure out if they can make it work this time, the second time around. Listen, we've talked about some things here, some things we haven't gotten to. There is one overwhelmingly outcome determinative issue here for you, and then there are some for you as well. You think, feel, and believe to the core of your soul that he is your son, that he is negligent, that he treats your biological daughter that you have between you like a queen and treats your son, which is his stepson, in a negative way, correct?
There's been a lot of negative things in the past.
You
yes.
said he's called him names,
many
he's
years
yelled
ago.
at him, he's demeaned him, he's threatened him one time with a nail sticking out next to his head, which could have hurt him badly. You believe that to be true, correct?
Yes.
And I'm not even saying you need to agree with that or you don't. I mean, you may totally disagree with that characterization, but you believe that he mistreats your son, both by acts of omission and commission. Okay, let me just cut to the chase. That is a drop-dead deal breaker. Drop-dead deal breaker. I don't care whether you love him. I don't care whether you think he is charming. I don't care if you think he's the only man that will have you or whatever rationale you put in your mind. If you have brought someone into your home that mistreats your child, it is your job to protect that child right now. Okay? And I'm not even saying that you do what she characterizes you as doing. But if you believe that, and you have told us that you do, then to me, there's no issue here. You don't have the right to be married to somebody that mistreats your child. You don't have the right to be with somebody that mistreats your child. And you have a duty and responsibility to get yourself and your child away from that immediately before dark today. It's just that simple. Now, I don't know what?
I did leave. I left 3 times during our marriage.
You just remarried him 3.5 weeks ago. Look, you need to stop playing the victim here. I didn't read the papers. I thought they were starting the divorce. Gee golly, I didn't know. I just don't know. Well, you now know because I'm telling you with verbs in my sentences. You need to get out and stay out. Okay? You protect your child. Paul. One thing here, when I said you don't have to speculate and predict, you can measure. You two have conflict over parenting style, right? You don't see things the same. And you've done nothing to resolve that conflict. Nothing. Zip. Zero. Nada. Yet. You've done nothing to resolve that conflict. You believe that you've done zero to acknowledge that, embrace that, or get help with that. At this point, there is no reason to believe, no rational person would believe that you would have any other outcome to this union than the one you've already had. Look, I believe in marriage. I believe we get divorced too quick. In this case, you got married too quick. You got remarried too quick. This doesn't work. Admit it. Face it. Go get this annulled. Whatever you have to do to undo 3.5 weeks of craziness and become co-parents.
But we got married in front of our children. Our children. We have a picture of her. I mean, they're standing next to us. What can we do to...
We have a conflict with.
You're not ready to be married to this woman. You're not ready to be married to him. You want to get married? Do the work. Do the work and then get married. And you owe it to your children to either get out of this or do the work required to get back into it. And I'm talking to myself. You're going to do exactly. You're going to keep doing exactly what you're doing, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to. I'm here to get help. I want to get help. And if it's not a right situation and we shouldn't be together, then I don't want it anymore.
Have I left any ambiguity in what I'm telling you need to do? You wanted clarity, right? You wanted an answer. We asked you what's the one question? If you're going to get to ask Dr. Phil this one question, what is it? Have I answered that?
Do you think we should make it or break it? I guess that was my question.
You didn't discern that from my response a few minutes ago?
So what is it again?
Okay, here we go. Break it. Okay, break it. I mean, seriously. Come on. Life's too short. Life's too short. You both have work that you need to do on yourselves. You're both young, attractive, intelligent people. You're going down the wrong path here. Admit it. Whoop a you and get out of here. Get out of this. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. This isn't right. It's sick. It's unhealthy. It's bad for the kids. It's bad for your self-esteem. I mean, he's calling you trailer trash and calling girls on your wedding day. What are you going to do? What's it take?
I don't know. I keep thinking
Does he have to get physical? Oh, never mind. He did. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. That's
You
why I
always
say,
have hope that things are going to change.
and they can change if you do the work. If, you're big on if. If y'all are willing to do the work, I am happy to make resources available to you to do some premarital counseling, to resolve the issues that you've had before, to bring in some professionals to work with you, and then you can decide whether it's fixable or it's not. But in the meantime, this is 9 miles of bad road to nowhere. Second marriages, especially to the same person again, have unique challenges. I mean, the divorce rate in America is about 50%. Second marriages is almost 75%. If you put them together with the same person again, it probably goes up from there. Now, Wendy and Ty have been listening to all this. They're dealing with many of the same issues as Paul and Tammy. What do y'all think about this?
I feel a whole lot relieved. I mean, that the issues we have aren't at the same level, and that we have common ground at least to begin to get back together. I mean, we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we've already agreed on that.
What do you think?
We have
Do
a
you
lot.
think you should get married?
I think we should do family counseling and work through things before we get married. I don't want to jump in and on a whim like they did.
Because y'all have had problems in the past,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so before you do this, you see they had a lot of work they need to do before they did what they did.
Yes.
And y'all have a lot of work to do before you do what you're contemplating, right?
Yes.
Doesn't mean that you can't. And listen, she's not a bad person. He's not a bad guy. But just in this particular role, I don't think you're right now. You're like the best husband material around. And you need to open your eyes and stop going, oh, gee, I didn't know. It's your job to know. Mm-hmm. Your mother. You're responsible for a child. It's your job to know. You have 2 children. Your responsibilities of both of them are protective. Right? Yeah. Y'all aren't going to go off and get married, right?
No.
No. Promise?
Promise.
Yes, most definitely.
Promise. I got you on camera saying that.
So at the end, Dr. Phil said that she's not a bad person, he's not a bad guy. I disagree with that last statement. I think he actually is a bad guy, a very bad one. To me, he seems like a pathological liar and a narcissistic abuser. He gaslights, he lies, he projects, he's petty, emotionally stunted. He was laughing and joking the entire time. They talked about him being her, pretending to face, slamming her son up against a wall, her son, and this man is laughing and making light of it and being sarcastic. I think he is absolutely a dangerous person for her to be with and to have her son around. I do understand that she is a victim of domestic, physical and emotional, psychological. He's put his hands on her, and even when he's not putting his hands on her, he's threatening her. That's still domestic. And he's her child. I definitely feel compassion and empathy for her because she is a victim. You can see that her self-esteem is deeply impacted and she's confused, which makes sense because that's what narcissistic abusers do with the gaslighting. So he's been confusing her for years. So of course she doesn't know what's up or down, what's right or wrong. And then the flip side of it is that she gets something out of this relationship too. She gets to remain in that position of being a victim, which she seems to kind of feed off on. Meanwhile, her son is growing up in a household where he's being targeted and abused by this man. And what seems to me the dynamic is that this is and now she's the enabler of, which is also a role. I think she absolutely needs to leave for the safety of her child, both of her children. Even if her daughter is not being targeted by him, this is still not a healthy environment for her either. Narcissistic parents slot their children into various roles, so it seems like the daughter is being put into the position of being the golden child while her son is, the scapegoat, the target. It's just all pretty terrible, and I do not like this man. I wanted to come right through the screen. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that this marriage should just be annulled? Should she just leave? I do. Do you think that her son is in danger? Do you think she is in danger? I mean, they joked about him bring her. I don't think it's funny, and sometimes that does happen. So what do you guys think they should do in this situation? Let me know. Drop it in the comments.